thing. Uh, again, we talked a little bit about it, but the cost of higher education with college tuition costs at historic highs now, and accumulating under the Trump administration with lack of financial aid and depleting grants because that's something that Donald Trump and his cronies, all right, I'm going to use that word cronies, are doing. So, again, just like DJ MD said, critics argue that giving away an honorary titles cheapens the thousands of hours, study, research, and financial sacrifice required to earn the actual degree. And so we'll talk a little bit more about it. But what do you think about? We've said it, but what do you think about some of the things that they're talking about from the Breakfast Club standpoint?
I agree with her. I mean, you can give honorary certificates, but honorary degrees, saying the word and the definition of a degree and an actual degree is something different than just giving a certificate. You can give somebody an honorary certificate for being, or whatever, but going out here and getting an honorary degree without any substance behind it, just giving them a degree to say you got one. I have a problem with it, and I agree with her.
Right. Well, I'm gonna bring. Let's do it since we're hot on it. Here's again. Let's go back to this particular piece, Foxy. This is in Africa. African countries are saying that they're outlawing these degrees in there. Saying that fake degrees, 32 fake diploma mills says doctorate without clarification is false representation. And they're saying, hey, let's stop this foolishness, because, people are around here and they're calling themselves doctors. So I'm hoping, this is what I'm hoping, Foxy, that, somebody doesn't have a medical doctorate and, they're not going to, operate on somebody with the honorary doctorate and, some unsuspecting person, who's getting, a guy who's, now an honorary doctorate in gynecology, goes and, and then Sheriff Foxy goes, and makes a, appointment and, you don't know. And it's like it's bad. It becomes a bad thing. Do you know what I mean?
And I know what you mean, but I think a lot of them that has those doctorate degrees, honorary doctorate degree, is people that has like like I said, models, entertainers, and politicians, different ones like that. Even in the churches, pastors are getting doctorate degrees. Honorary doctorate degrees, even pastors, in the spiritual world,
exactly.
Deacons, mothers, honorary mother, honorary deacon, honorary this, with a doctor in front of it. And I'm like, what?
And you talked about it. I mean, and here's the thing. We're going to go up to the next clip, but this young lady, Foxy, is she's very controversial. Her name is Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, and she was discovered, I think, by 50 Cent, and she's done her thing and become a global influencer and very well renowned, as a matter of fact. And she's had two, not one, two New York Times bestsellers, and she's every time you've seen her interview, she said so many conflicting things that people started to question. I think it was Corey Holcomb or someone who was questioning this, but there's been
Corey
Holcomb. And there's been a flurry of questions saying, hey, is this a PR stunt? And publicity skeptics are frequently questioning the motives of this young lady because, they're suggesting that, these high profile conferrals, did she get it legitimately? She said she went to Arkansas University, which, I had applied there at one point, but then, I'm like, for what I'm paying this university, and how credible is it, so on and so forth. So I'm like, I might try another route. Anyway, her story has changed several times. First, she had 4 doctorates, and then she had 6 doctorates, and then she was a vice president and a president of major universities in Los Angeles. So I mean, it's to the point to where it's just like, this lady's, she's lying through her teeth every time she opens up her mouth.
Yeah, I heard about her and I've seen about her and have checked out her philosophy and
Yeah.
whoa,
Yeah,
okay.
it's not good. It's not good. I'll tell you what, let's do this while we're a little far advanced into the segment. It's going by pretty quick, but let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and find the actual interview with the young lady and Dr. Brian, and let's share that a little bit, okay? Give
Okay.
us and this is the Breakfast Club. Hey, the Breakfast Club is hot on this topic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They ain't playing. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and let me share the screen with it, and then we'll come back. And if you're
Okay.
just joining us and you want to jump in on the topic, come into the Amir Shakur Speaks broadcast channel, Facebook and YouTube, and hey, stand up and speak out. Your voice matters. All right, we'll go ahead and play the Breakfast Club segment and roll them. Let's play it.
Conversation about your doctorate because people can't find your dissertation online. How are you responding to that in this new era of your life?
I'm going to clear it up once on here. I'm not doing it again. And I'm clearing it up for my doc squad, for my fan base, for my audience who deserve to hear me address it. For the folks who have already made up their mind to not like me or not understand me, listen, I don't give a fuck what your narrative is. I would like for you to recreate it, double down on it, and run that shit. Because I don't give a fuck about it. Now, to my
Okay.
folks, my village, it's very simple. I went to a school, Argos University, completed an entire program. I went back online to get my official transcripts because I was applying to a law school many years ago to be a professor there. And I had to provide my transcripts, right, to get hired. And I went to contact the school and say, hey, I need my official transcripts. I need my entire thing. And there was no school. I was like, okay, I'm confused. I Google. It says this school has been shut down. I said, oh, well, they got to have records. I mean, they were accredited when I attended the school. They were accredited when I finished the program. I go and look, there is a third party that has the records. Why I contact the third party, that third party only holds records for 2 years. I was past my 2 years. So that means that I had no access to records. And then I contacted, financial aid. You can't make up financial aid. It shows that I paid for a doctoral program alongside my master's program and my undergrad program. And they said, we can fully refund you your money under one circumstance. We give you your money back. You don't get credit for not a class, a course, a program you took in this university, at this institute. So do you want us to refund you? Or do you want us not? I said no, because I didn't want to risk the chance of them saying, well, we're going to give you back your money, and it wipes out your entire program. Luckily, I had, I do this with all of the schools. I had downloaded from the actual student portal my transcripts at that time. And I was able to get just about all of my transcripts, including up to like dissertation. But everything else, there's just no holding take for any of our records, which I think is completely effed up. Just in
They
general.
are going to kill you online
Was it-
this week. They're going to say she has no records. They just want to hate you regardless.
No, that's fine. And it's not even that there's no records that I don't. The school had a third party that carried the records only for a limit of 2 years. So it's not me, it's any student that attended Argosy. But
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! So here's the thing. Now, listen. Argosy actually put out a statement. Some of the representatives who either went there, who either were admins there, or basically hold the database and the files. And so here's the thing: they're saying that none of this is even true. This is totally made up. And the updated special report, I do believe that Dr. Cheyenne Bryan, the credential controversy is definitely with merit, and study illustrating the broader debate. The broader debate is the academic credential crisis. She's claiming that she's a clinical psychologist, and she literally, now see, here's where it gets dangerous. Okay, now as myself as a preacher, a minister, a man of God, a man of faith. I have a couple of friends who, they did a 3 or 4 page report, and now they're doctor this and doctor that, and But again, you can't defend a dissertation. In her case, I mean, clearly, Foxy, it's being proven to be disingenuous, and the story's changing, and I now she's claiming to have a doctorate in clinical psychology, and she's actually saying that you don't have to be licensed, but in most states you have to be licensed. She's saying it's not necessary for you in private practice, which is disingenuous because you do have to be licensed, and the reason why you have to be licensed is because it's a matter of credibility and accountability, right? So, what do you think about that? What do you think about Dr. Bryant?
That she's a bunch of crock. Because you said that you don't have to have a license for that, but you do have to have a license for clinical, because it's a liability. If you guided somebody and you guided them and they go out here and commit, unallow themselves or whatever, that's a liability on your part.
Right.
Number 2, for you to be clinical, you don't have to be bonded too, because you got to be insured. You got to be insured. You got to have liability insurance. You got to have a license. You got to be bonded. You got to have a license to be bonded to make sure you don't go to jail for what you did.
Let's watch a little bit more.
And so all this is like a bunch of rubbish, because it sounds like you got excuses. So that there is no record whatsoever except for the payments of the loans, the student loans.
I tell you what, if I paid, $100,000 and 75,000 for, hey, listen, I'm going to keep that record. I'm going to have it on the wall. I'm going to have it in every last database and every format that you can have in the entire world. So basically, when I'm rolling that stuff out on Q, because I did all of that blood, sweat, and tears, my stuff ain't disappearing. You feel me? I am going to have it well documented, okay?
And look, and if you pay for your doctrine and you pay for that license, then you should, show, okay, I paid for this license. I should be instated with this license. So
let's be careful. We don't mean pay like you did a 1-page report and you paid $1,300. We're talking about if you went through academia and you studied, took courses, and over the course of multiple years, and you actually got a legitimate doctorate degree. Is what we're specifically talking about, by the way. I think you got to be clear on that, right?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you're right. You have to be clear on it. You have to go, first of all, you have to go 4 years just to deal with the psychology part before you even get to the clinical part. Mm. So it's 8 years altogether. Now, you got some that go through the shortcut. Some people are a little advanced because they're little geniuses, and they can kind of go through it a little faster than others. But most of them takes up to 8 years.
Right. Let's do this. Let's play a little bit of more.
And I don't see girlfriend here going no 8 years.
Listen. She's been there. She's been successful. I mean, 2 New York Times bestsellers. So hey, but let's play a little bit more of her, and then we'll go back to we'll kind of go towards the ending phase of the second. So let's just play a little bit.
But again, it doesn't. How can I say it? It doesn't affect me, because if I chose to go get a license as an LMFT, I have my master's in marriage and child therapist. I have my hours. I can just take that and say, hey, let me submit these for licensure, and I want to go sit for my exam, and all I have to do is study. I don't need a doctorate in counseling psychology to go get licensed as a therapist. That's what we're all missing.
They say the reason that you don't get questioned or tested as much is because of your quote unquote looks.
I said this last time I was on, you might be my alter ego brother, because some of the stuff you say is just right up the alley of what needs to be addressed. So there's pretty privilege, and I've learned that there's pretty punishment. And I didn't really understand that term until I got into my field. And I want to say this, I've been in my field for 18 years. I didn't get into this field to become famous, to become a celebrity. I got in this field because I was a little girl from the inner city who was tenacious and determined to make it out. And I had a lot of broken pieces and abandonment. And when God provided me tools that helped me take my broken pieces and make peace from it, go from my wilderness into my promised land, which I talk about in my book, Live Your Promise, I thought, wait a minute, I got to make sure I give everybody I come in contact with these principles, because everyone deserves that freedom and that healing that I'm experiencing, what I call God's peace. All right. And so with that, people got a whiff of it. And, you know, the fan base, the folks made me famous, made me a celebrity. I did not grow up and say, hey, I want to listen, I'm a good looking woman. I've had access to the industry for my entire life. If I wanted to be famous, I would have went maybe the actress route or the modeling route. Easy call for me. So none of that. No one goes to college and gets multiple degrees to say, I want to be famous. Now, do I love it here? Yeah, I love it. I'm grateful for it. I appreciate it. If folks would focus on, Doc, how did you create your own lane? I don't want to be you, but damn it, I want my own lane to occupy. I would give them the tools like I'm doing in my book, Live Your Promise, about how I did it, how I went from the hood to the hills. Was it hard? Yeah. Is it possible? Absolutely. Am I the only one that can do it? Hell no. The tools I use, if you apply it, you will get the same result. Just like baking a cake.
Some people are like, well, how can she tell me about my marriage when she hasn't been married? Or how can she tell me about my family or my kids when she hasn't been through that? Even though you studied it and you got your degree in it. So what do you say to those people?
So you just gonna cook the whole interview, just gonna cook? All your questions gonna be...
Because you know what? Because I'll be honest, I didn't
tell them that we talked about this pre
I know, but what I say was like, you know, and I looked, it wasn't like, you know, 2 years ago. This is like a week ago. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, y'all trying to stomp out the Cheyenne Bryan like my Knicks did the Philly Sixers.
Your question was, what do I think about people who say, I'm not married, so how can I teach folks? Correct. So this is the thing. I do not teach people how to be married.
Okay, I think we'll stop right there, and welcome SBK, and welcome everyone else. And if you want to join the conversation, I think that Miss Bryan, I think that Miss Cheyenne Bryan is an influencer, and she is talking in circles around why she hadn't or why she has her degrees, but then she's talking and not really talking about the level credential. And for me, I think that she is, I think she's being disingenuous. So the Dr. Cheyenne Bryan controversy and debate has erupted into the mainstream headlines following intense public scrutiny, right, surrounding Miss Bryan. And I mean, obviously, she's going to win men and women because she's easy on the eye. She speaks very well. She's a high profile life coach, to me, to say the best or the least. So, that's what it is, and salute to you, SBK, and anyone else who wants to join the conversation. I sent you guys a link if you want to join in and give your opinion. Stand up and speak out. Your voice matters. But I mean, to me, I believe, Foxy, I believe the core allegations and media vetting after all of these popular appearances by her and other folks, the Breakfast Club, the Joe Biden show, online commentators and licensed mental health practitioners have questioned Bryan's academic and professional standing and her methodology. And so that's when it becomes dangerous. And that's when we have to draw the line, because clinical psychology, like you said, Foxy, is, hey, if you give somebody the wrong diagnosis and, they're jumping out of the balcony window because, you gave them the wrong diagnosis, that's when it becomes dangerous.
Yes, I believe that's where it becomes dangerous. And a lot of times, a lot of people follow these life coaches because they're more life coaches than they are actually doctoring and clinical. And when you start going clinical, a lot of times when you're dealing with clinical, that means medication also, and you're getting real deep into the medical field of their mind. and you got to be careful with that.
Right.
Because you can lead a person the wrong way by doing that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And in the critical area, and that's the least of it when you're talking about clinical psychology. But again, I could just see if this is not deregulated, I can see, some medical honorary medical degree being given to some quack, and some crazy, this person's now, got somebody on an operating table, chopping them open. And I mean, so here's the thing, again, if you're just joining us, what we're talking about is, the honorary degree controversy. Is it academic? Is it disingenuous to say, I'm Dr. Such and Such because some university, some institution, either accredited or not accredited, legitimate or not, gave you a honorary degree. So here's the latest development in the Cheyenne Bryant story. More specifically, there was a gentleman who I guess has some kind of relationship with her, and he started a university in May, and he said he gave her a degree and from his university, and he started in May. Now she's legitimately covered, and she has a real doctorate. I'm like, brother, you are reaching, she is reaching, and y'all need to stop playing. Stop playing.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Stop playing. Okay, so let's move on, because again, we've seen figures like Dr. William Cosby and other folks, who have gotten honorary degrees, and we've seen this. So let's look at this chart. Here's what I feel like it's about. I feel like it's about credibility. You can buy a certificate, but you can't buy credibility. So what do you think that they're getting? They're getting they are indeed getting a title, right? Doctor this, doctor that. They're giving the impression, let's pull this up, they're giving the impression of, great things that they've done, their career aspirations. It looks great on the wall. It looks great on business cards, and people will be impressed, right? But, when it comes to what they're really getting and what we're really getting, what the unsuspecting public is really getting, they're getting questions, right? Not admiration. There's a credibility damage, when I stepped up to, I would be embarrassed to say, my name is Dr. Such and Such, and I didn't do the work, I didn't do clinical hours, I didn't have the right portfolio, and then the other thing is, the lack of respect. I guarantee you that half of the people.
Okay, how many counseling centers have you been in? How many counseling sessions have you been in? How many counseling sessions have you gone in the hospital and done? You keep talking about the clinical things you've done, but what have you done on, like a clinical center, psychology center, people with drug problems, what have you got proof that you've done any of those things besides writing 2 books? Whoopie-doo, anybody can write a book. But what have you done, that you could prove to us that you have actually been in these centers? Okay, you ain't got a doctorate degree to show, but show us something else that you have done, that you have got credit for.
Yeah, this public perception and clear professional standard for especially things like clinical psychology, for clinical practice or university instruction, there is frequently confused to begin with by the general public with, clinical earned PhD status, institutional follow-on, and a call for reform. This controversy is not going to stop. I think it's going to continue elevating. People are putting together, Foxy, people are putting together unaccredited institutions. I know one person who did it and was charging people $1,300 to do a 1-page report. Now they're doctor this and doctor that, and I mean, how disingenuous. I think that there really needs to be reform. I think that there needs to be stricter disclosures. And when we see these, the growing pressure to vet expert credentials, I think we need to distinguish between licensed clinical folks, and unaccredited life coaches. Like in the question of Dr. Bryant. Academic watch groups. I'm standing behind them, Foxy, and they're advocating for clearer public distinction, right? Regarding who may legally or ethically use the title doctor in therapeutic or medical context. So I think we should start there. If it's a therapeutic or a medical and it requires a state license, then you cannot call yourself a doctor, because in that point it would be very disingenuous and you are misleading people. And it gets to the point where it's just dangerous. All
right. Is she registered through the state or any state?
No, and it's illegal. It's illegal in most states. If you are a licensed clinical psychologist and and you're saying, she actually has gone on to say, even in that Breakfast Club interview, she said you don't need a license. Well, that's not true, because most states are regular. It's highly regulated for clinical psychology. You do need a license. You need a license. You have to be licensed before you practice. Even if you're in private practice, you have to be licensed.
No, she has to be licensed because it's an APA. You got to be registered under APA, American Psychology Association.
Yeah.
You know, you just can't just jump out here and say, "Oh, I'm a doctor in psychology," and you're really not. And you keep saying you're not registered, baby. You're not, and you're going around, you faking the phone. Basically,
well, titles can be purchased, as the bottom of this graphic says. Respect cannot. And folks, here's the thing. I'm gonna give you a few minutes to just address and do your finals. But this is my final, Foxy, and to the public. And folks like SBK, hopefully you guys can continue on with this conversation, because I think it's very important, and it's going around because of Cheyenne Bryan, but there's so many folks out there. So here's the way that I feel about it. I feel like, to be honest with you, I feel like if you have an honorary doctorate, and this is what I'm saying, if you've been given an honorary doctorate, then I think that you should say, legally, they have to abide by saying, my name is Honorary Doctorate Smith, or Honorary Doctorate. And I guarantee you, if they made them do that, they would not want to be a doctor. They would not want that, because it doesn't have the same merit. And this public scrutiny intensifies the ongoing debate over credential highlights a growing demand for transparency, and we're living in an era where authority and media influence often cross paths with academic tradition. So, with the AI and the internet highway going as quickly as it is, it's so quick to spin off whatever. So we got to get the academic watchdogs. We got to reel in this stuff, because it's just rampant. And I think, to be honest with you, if it's critical areas like medical, clinical psychology, let me think, what other ones, Foxy, that I think that they should outlaw giving honorary doctors. I don't think legally they should be able to do it.
I don't think they should give honorary. Be honest with you, honorary doctorate degree. I don't think they should give it, because a lot of people use it for the wrong reasons, and you can have a lot of people out here that go under somebody, like we said, unalive themselves because they got the wrong advice, or the wrong, or they subscribe to. Some people are out here, you seeing so many malpractices because of that.
Right. SBK said this is her hustle. I agree with you. This is her hustle, but it shouldn't be a hustle, because here's the thing. She's being disingenuous. Now, if she would just say, hey, she can say, I'm a clinical psychology expert, but not use the doctorate name, and meaning that she has experience. I think that it's kind of disingenuous, but not to the level of, I've got 7 doctorate degrees and, all of this. And, and I think that if they say, hey, I am a, clinical therapy expert, and I don't even know if that would even work, because what? I think we're still giving them a green light to do. It's a green light for bad behavior. I think, to be honest with you, I think that she might have to say, I'm a clinical psychology coach. And I think that would be more acceptable.
I think so too, because I have a sister. She has 3 master's degrees.
Mm-hmm.
3 master's degree, and each one, and all of them is in accounting. I mean, this chick with numbers is awesome. She's look at numbers, she reads numbers, and she has 3 master's degrees. And think about somebody giving them an honorary master's degree, and this lady done gone through. Wait a minute, she went through 4, 8, 12 years of that, of going, sitting up at late at night and working. Working in the government, and working, trying to pay for her students' loans. She's still paying on the student loans for all of that. And and here you are, you walk out here and you get an honorary degree, and you ain't doing hardly the work, and don't have those student loans like my sister had.
Right.
And I think that's why I think it's unfair. You got an associate degree and a doctor. I got an associate degree, but I had to work hard for my associate degree. I didn't just go in there and say, "Oh, I got an honorary associate degree."
Right. Well, here's my thing, and my final thing is I'm with you. I'm with you, and I wanna thank you for joining us. And my final thing, and if you have a final word to say, feel free to after me, and we'll close it out. And SBK Media, Texas. Is that Texas?
Yes, in Texas.
Okay, cool. What's up, my brother? What's up, my brother from Texas? All right, hey, I appreciate you joining us. And anyone else who's going to join in on the replay, hey, SBK, if you want to get in on the conversation and in the future conversations, let us know. I've heard some great things about you, so you're very much welcome. This is what I got to say about this, y'all. And feel free to comment and on the replay. But here's the thing. If you got unverifiable transcripts and defunct schools, look, stop playing with us. Stop playing with our community. And it's in the urban community, and black folks out there call themselves doctor this, doctor that. Listen, sit y'all butts down, okay? Let's stop being disingenuous to the community. Go get some real school. Go do it for real. Stop faking the funk and then calling yourself doctor this, doctor that. Do some real training, get some real school. If not, just go get some certifications and say, this is, and that would be good in some areas, that's not specialty areas where you can just specialize in, hey, a lot of great certifications out there. I'm saying look into those programs, and say, hey, I'm a specialist, in this area, but don't call yourself doctor this or doctor that, especially when it comes to, therapeutic or theocentric psychology in areas where, hey, we got some people out there who need some real help, and you're not able to help them. You know what I'm saying? So Stop playing with us, stop playing with them. And, let's get some real training out there. And, life coaching is a great thing. I'm going in that direction in the next few weeks. I've been looking at it. I really didn't feel too lukewarm about it. But, hey, I've seen some mentors and some life coaches, and they're doing life-changing work out there in the community. So we need more of that, but we need it in sincerity. Amen.
Amen. And, I was getting ready to go and do my calling as as in the ministry, and I talked to one of the pastor's wives that supposedly had the program to help you train for it, go through the classes for it. Yeah. And she wanted me to pay her. Okay, she went online and did hers, right? Within 3 months, she had her doctorate degree. Okay. Online.
Which one? You talking about the real thing, or you talking about the Cheyenne Bryant methodology?
Well, they supposedly trained online and got tested and everything online. Okay.
What kind of doctorate is this?
Ministry.
Oh, well, that's different. That's
different. Wait a minute. But you wanted me to pay you $1,500.
Oh Lord.
And you, okay. 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 I'm gonna pay you $1,500 for 1 month, and it took you 3 months to get yours. doctorate degree, and you're going to tell me it takes me 1 month back giving you $1,500 just to get my ministry degree. Okay, my minister license. Okay, I'm not boo-boo the fool. And I think a lot of people get their hustles on because they go after people that are at their weakest point. I think she goes after people at their weakest point to give them hope.
Well, that's what SBK said. You know, this is her hustle. We're referring to Dr. Cheyenne Brown. And yeah, listen, people are making money off of these honorary doctorates. And it sounds like that's an honorary doctorate program as well. You know, and they're making money. And to be honest with you, it all has to be broken down, torn down, and deregulated because it's deceptive. You know, public perception has to be clear. There has to be clear standards put in place. If not, this thing is going to be all over the board, and you're going to have fools out there. I'm trying to tell you, they're going to be doing it. You know,
yeah, they are.
Dr. Madeline said, this is a scam. Laugh out loud, 3 months. It took me 3.5 years from my PhD. Thank you, doctor. You know,
she's really a doctor. This lady right there that just came on, she's really a doctor. So, and she has great advice. She's licensed and she is a doctor. She's not a fake. She is truly a true doctor. And if you want to talk to somebody about psychology or anything like that, she's the person to holler at.
Well, you know what, Dr. Marilyn, right? Dr. Marilyn, listen, you're welcome to come on, and I think we might, Foxy, have to do, Dr. Foxy, we may have to do a follow-up show.
Dr. Amir.
hey, I got it.
Wait a minute. Dr. Amir. Dr. Foxy, Dr. SBK.
You know, we're going to be there with Dr. Bill Cosby and Dr. Brian and Dr. this and Dr. that. Hey, listen, y'all. Listen again. We out of here. But what I'm going to say to y'all, and Dr. Marilyn, we will do a follow-up. SBK, we'll do a follow-up. I welcome y'all. Listen, if y'all are out there faking the funk, and y'all can't entertain a dissertation or defend a dissertation, I should say. If you haven't even done the level of academia like I have, you know, again, you are an uncertified person and you're just a life coach. Call it a life coach, you know, call it an expert, a field expert or something. Don't call yourself a doctorate. And this honorary doctorate degree nonsense has got to stop. So let's continue on. Let's start reevaluating and let's stop faking the funk and fooling the public. And I am hoping that, you know, maybe Congress or, you know, the folks after, you know, we get, you know, Mr. Mann out of office, you know, your favorite, you know, the current occupant of the White House. I am hoping that we see some, you know, reevaluation of this whole thing. And then we have to see regulation governed by regional accreditation boards in the states around the country and licensing bodies to look at institutional policy, because I mean they got to do better when it comes to this. And even in the church, you know, we got preachers out there. Hey, doctor this and doctor that. Hey, man, you ain't got to be a doctor and a preacher at the same time. Now stop it. Stop playing with us. I was a bishop, so you know I'm just trying to say. You know, you can't even talk about, you know, you can't even dissertain a scriptural lecture, you know, saying, you know, look, you're going to get me started and go into another 3 hours, Foxy. What's wrong with you?
Well, look what Dr. Marilyn said. She said it took her 3.5 years to get her PhD.
Yeah. And the thing
you're
is,
right. There's nothing wrong with life coaching. You are absolutely right, Dr. Marilyn. There's nothing wrong with life coaching. But when you put doctor in front of it and saying it's clinical, that's the problem we have. Life coaching is a great thing to have because it helps the community. But when you start putting doctor in there and you haven't put in like you have to even get to that level, then I have a problem with that.
Yeah, Ileana Van Zandt versus Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. And I am in favor of Dr. Bryant, but the last thing I'm gonna say is, we baby girl, if you're watching this or if anybody knows her, we just want you to do it right, and we don't want to see anybody torn down, broken down. I believe you have a bright career. I believe she can do things, but she's got to be able to better distinguish between what it is. These are state licensed clinicians and unaccredited life coaching. It's two or three different standards, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like Dr. Marilyn said, I think it's very honorable work. I think it's godly work, and I think we need more life coaches. We need more coaches. We need more mentors, especially in the urban community, the Black community. So let's be clear about a public distinction, y'all, going forward. Let's stop the madness, stop the foolishness, and take that doctor. If you're using a fake doctorate, take it off your name. Take it off, because you ain't doctor this. You ain't doctor. Just use your name and say, I'm a specialist in certain areas, because you can do that. Just be very careful and strategic about it. All right.
I agree.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Marilyn. I'm going to leave the door open for you to close us out, Foxy.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Marilyn. Thank you, SBK, for joining. Anyone else that do the replay, thank you for listening in to our segment tonight. Thank you, Amir, for inviting me, allowing me to come up to join you. I don't, like you said, we don't like to put anybody down, but don't go out here and fake who you really are. Just be real. If you're a life coach, then be a life coach. Don't put doctor in front of that. And, because to me, it's like a slap in the face for somebody like Dr. Marilyn, who really put hours and days and years into it. And when you haven't really did that, you might have put in some hours for a life coach program, but to do what she doing, what Dr. Marilyn doing, that's a lot of work. And she has done clinical, and she's been in centers, and she's been an intern, and she's done a lot of stuff to get to her PhD and to have doctor in front of her name. So it takes a lot. And just to put honorary doctor in front of their names, I really feel like they're cheating people like Dr. Marilyn that really hustled and worked hard and struggled to get where she is. Mm-hmm. And just to give them that little license and say, okay, that little certificate and say, you're an honorary doctor. And a lot of them, to me, just walk around like peacocks. Strut like peacocks because they got doctor in front of them and make them feel important. But to me, if they
ain't walking around like peacocks, they making money. Okay, I'm just saying it is a hustle. What did SBK say? It's a hustle.
Right, but to me, it really feel like it's a slap in the face. And you got it. I can't take it from you. If that's what you have, that's what you have. But I really feel like it need to be discontinued, because it seems like I said, with somebody like Dr. Marilyn, I feel like it's cheating.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and slap. It's like a slap in the face for them.
It is. Well, I want to say, as public pressure and scrutiny intensifies, just do the right thing, get off the fence and do the right thing. Hey, listen, if you have watched the show either now on the replay, like Foxy said, and if you want to reach out to us, you want to comment about it, let us know. If you want us to do a second segment of this particular topic, and with a round table, feel free. And I would love Dr. Marilyn to be on that segment. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon. I think it's going to continue intensifying. So we'll see how it goes. Y'all know how to reach me, Amir Shakur Speaks. You can reach Foxy if you have any questions for Foxy. Shoot me an email or put it in the chat of this particular show, and make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And I think that's it for us. SBK, Dr. Marilyn, my lovely Foxy 2, Roxy 3, thank you, and thank you for being a moderator and guest host of the show tonight. And let's continue on, because I think we're doing a great job out there keeping people informed. All right. All right, y'all. We out of here.
You are so welcome, Dr. Marilyn. Mwah. You know I love you. I love you more.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for being credible to the people as well. I'm going to take Foxy's word that you are who you are, because I think you are, and I appreciate you as well. Take care of yourself, and listen, y'all. Feel free to follow up, give us some comments and feedback, and thank y'all again. And y'all have a good evening. We out of here.
We out.